So moving on to the Cafetiere.
Yeah, so in keeping with the other two, we have the Cafetiere is basically based on the Interfax Harmonic Percolator, which is an old, super old fuzz pedal that had these really unusual slider controls instead of conventional knobs. So it basically just had a level and a gain control. It's a kind of a really odd, splatty kind of sounding fuzz distortion. It's a really unique sound. And the idea was to, again, take that and try and find out what its quirks were and what people liked and disliked about it, and then how can we then make that usable for other people? Because I think the thing that people find is there's a lot of discussion about how a pedal sounds, but they never consider the guitar they're using or the amp they're using. So it's, again, the concept runs with how can we make it usable for anyone using any guitar and any amp, and they can still find a sound that they like.
And I guess that's where the super tweakability comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I certainly found when I've done reviews of other pedals, I always kind of choose the Telecaster to demo on, because like if you've got a humbucker guitar on the neck, if you put a fuzz or a humbucker neck pickup into a fuzz, it's going to sound completely different to a single coil.
Yeah.
But with this and with all your pedals, with the amount of adjustability they have, you can kind of you could get the same sound from multiple guitars, or you could just, like I said, and just endless flexibility.
Yeah, it's just trying to counteract. So if you, like I said, if you're running a Telecaster into a Fender and it's wide open and it's really bright, you might want to dial the tone down or whatever. But if you're running a Les Paul into a Marshall that's already screaming, it might sound a bit muffled if you don't, unless you crank the tone. So it's just giving you those options. But with the Cafetiere, it's kind of taking those, just that basic level and gain control, which you've still got, adding in again the second switchable gain, so you can turn it down and have kind of a vintage kind of splatty low gain fuzz sound, and then really crank it up on the second gain, kind of go into like sort of screaming like splatty fuzz. Same 6-way clipping switch for the diodes, especially with this circuit in particular. It makes such a drastic difference to the sound because it is just that single fuzz stage, that single gain stage that you're affecting. Going from that, we've then got a feed control which controls the capacitor on the input of the fuzz. It basically controls how much bass is let through into the circuit. So dial it all the way down, you get this kind of thin, kind of splatty, almost kind of like Satisfaction sound, that really kind of old, kind of raspy sound. Dial it up, you get a bassier, more modern fuzz sound. The staff control,
I really like the staff control.
It basically takes it runs directly from the power supply of the circuit, and it will literally strip the voltage from the circuit out. So all the way up, you've got the full 9 volts. As you dial it down, you get less and less, to the point where it will basically just splat out the second you hit it, especially if you're using low output Strat pickups.
You can get some really weird, farty, low bit noises from this.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, borderline like I'm not sure I'm thinking like a theremin or
like a kind of bit crusher kind of sound. It kind of just
really unusual, really usable.
The idea with this one was to like not make a conventional sounding kind of nice smooth fuzz sound. It was kind of, how can I make it sound as almost horrendous as possible for the times. For the times when, because I think a lot of the times when I listen to recordings, especially in a lot of songs, you find that some of those most memorable guitar sounds aren't actually that nice on their own.
Well, like you said about Satisfaction, that weird fact, that was never meant to be on the track. There was meant to be a trumpet.
I've heard
it was meant to be a trumpet sound, and Keith Richards didn't like it, but the producer said, no, leave it on. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, because you can hear it being clicked on and off.
People that's really sought after sound.
Yeah.
But so you can get some really crazy effects. But we're having a play, and you can also get some really normal, usable effects.
Yeah. So I mean, it will go from like, you'll find especially, and this will be the same for all the pedals that use the have the clipping switch, is that you'll find the kind of the smoothest sound on the germanium. That's kind of like it's a lower output, so you don't get as much volume from the pedal. But you tend to find that the clipping that germanium diodes offer is a much softer kind of distortion overdrive sound, and then LEDs and silicon diodes are much harsher, kind of a lot more brittle sounding. And then the only other feature is the tone control. The original, or as most fuzzes, you normally just get a level and gain control, and they can tend to be a little bit harsh, especially as I've said before, if you're running a bridge pickup of a telly into a clean amp, they can be a little bit harsh. So the tone control is just a low pass filter that lets you dial out a little bit of that high end, so you can basically tweak it to suit.
Sometimes fuzz doesn't sound so good with twang.
No, exactly. Yeah,
because you want it a bit deeper and smoother and rumbly.
Yeah, because it's very easy to go in, especially when you're running a clean amp. It's very easy to go into like fizzy territory.
But then, like I said, with a bass or something, you might want to tone up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just try and get it a bit brighter and more cutting.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll have a twiddle with that. See what sounds we can get. So where can people find out more about you and your products?
Through basically all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or at zandercircuitry.co.uk.
All links below. Alex, thanks so much for coming down.
No problem.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Pedals are fantastic. Wish you all the best luck in the future.
Thanks very much.
For the purposes of this demo, I'll be using my Japanese Fender 52 reissue Telecaster. I'm running into my Laney LC50 all-valve combo, which has a Celestion G12 100K speaker in it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.